What's up everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kyle. Today we're going to talk about 6 things that you must know before you make that move to Red Deer, Alberta. We're also going to get into some things that I think that people really get wrong about living in this city. Let's do it. All right, guys, let's dive right into it. Let's start off with one of the things that I think people get really wrong about living in Red Deer, and that is the crime rate. If you go online and you look at what people write on forums or wherever it is that you're visiting, it is absolutely laughable what people write about Red Deer. They make it sound like it is the most crime-ridden, evil cesspool of a city in the country and the province. You wouldn't ever want to live there. You don't want to go downtown because it's so dangerous. Oh my goodness, guys, I laugh at this stuff. I've actually had clients that have made the move here and they told me because of what they read online, they were actually a little bit scared to move here. And when they got here, they had a huge chuckle. They couldn't believe like the discrepancy between what they had read and what it's like actually here within the city. I've also had people move here from the bigger cities like Edmonton and Calgary, and they say they feel much safer walking around in Red Deer than they did in Edmonton and Calgary. And then people will argue that, well, Red Deer is a smaller city, but it has all the big city problems. That is also not true. It is not specific to one center here within the province or one specific city. If we look at the more comparable cities in size to Red Deer, for example, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Grand Prairie is a little bit smaller, but they are all struggling with issues and homeless issues as well. So it's not specific to Red Deer. I think with all the homelessness and the crime that pretty much everywhere is experiencing is one due to the fentanyl addiction and the opioid crisis. And you have places like British Columbia where they treat criminals like victims, and you can legally buy cocaine or fentanyl or meth.
Are you high?
I'm not.
To me, that's just crazy. So don't believe everything you read online about Red Deer. The crime rate here, of course, we have crime, we have a homeless population. Most of the crime is petty crime. It's not a lot of violent crime. So just be smart. Make sure you're locking up your vehicles. You're not leaving your garage wide open. I know, and this was back in 2012 or 2013, I lived in Vanier East. If I left my truck unlocked, someone would definitely take the opportunity and go through it. I remember I just got back from Vegas and I bought some Air Jordans. And man, I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan. And they stole my brand new Air Jordans. So again, live in the right area. If you're living in the right area, you're not gonna notice it. Don't go looking for it. If you're not some type of criminal or you're not looking for this actively, it's probably not going to affect you whatsoever. So Red Deer is absolutely a safe city. Do not believe everything that you read online. A lot of it is bullshit. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. If you do need help making the move here, use this info popping up, take a screenshot, do whatever you need to. Get a hold of me. I am a realtor in the area. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, let's get into the second thing that I think people get really wrong about Red Deer, Alberta, and that's that it lacks culture and diversity. So a lot of times you'll hear people say that Red Deer is full of hillbillies or it's full of rednecks, and it's just that place that you stop to get gas when you're going by from Edmonton to Calgary. You pull into Gasoline Alley, which isn't even in the city of Red Deer, by the way, that's in the county. And I think a lot of people, they just base their judgments on what they see from Highway 2. But we have a lot of diversity here. There is a lot of culture. We have a large Filipino population. There's a large Indian population. We have Moss. I have helped people move here from all over the world, from Hong Kong, India, Cameroon, all over the place. So we have a lot more diversity than people give it credit for. It's not just full of rednecks, and I'm not even sure what redneck means. The people here are super accepting and super friendly. So again, don't believe everything that you read online. And now let's talk about the scene in Red Deer. Now, yes, our nightlife scene, it's not the greatest. I think a lot of places are struggling with this right now, especially in Red Deer. It used to be such a busy party town. We had like 6 nightclubs or something when I first moved here. We're down to like 2.
No more clubs. What? Yes.
And obviously I'm way too old to go to them, so I don't know if they're good or not, but we do have a really good live music scene here. So you can go to places like East 40th Pub, 111 Grill. I have a friend who plays there. You can listen to the music while you're eating. I got a buddy who's one of the best musicians that I've ever seen in my life. He'll play the saxophone there with his band. Dude, if you watch this video, kudos to you, buddy. And there's places like The Vat. The Vat is this cool, kind of like, it doesn't feel like a bar, but it is a bar, but they have open mic there on Sunday nights. And then we have the Ross Street patio downtown, which is a phenomenal place to visit in the summertime. You can enjoy drinks and good food, and they have live music down there. It is a really cool vibe down there in the summertime. And even though our downtown isn't busy, I think our downtown has a lot of culture. So it has the Ross Street patio, and there's a lot of these cool places like the Velvet Olive, just these really cool, quirky, and unique shops down there that give Red Deer's downtown a lot of character. And just to hammer it home, don't believe everything you read online. I'll probably say that again a few more times in this video, but Red Deer isn't just full of rednecks and hillbillies and hockey players. The people here are super friendly, they're super accepting, they're very, very nice. You're gonna love the people here, and it does have a lot more culture and diversity than you might think it is for a smaller rural city in Alberta.
It's, God, these people are these are good people.
All right, let's move along to the third thing that you must know before making the move to Red Deer, Alberta. Now, you're probably looking on a map, and when you look at Red Deer, it probably looks like, there probably isn't gonna be much to this city. It's in the heart of Alberta. It's just going to be farmland. There isn't going to be any trees. It's going to be pretty boring, kind of like Airdrie. Just kidding, Airdrie. I had to throw that in there. But Red Deer is absolutely one of the things that it is known for the most is its trail system and its parks. It is absolutely beautiful here. There's tons of outdoor recreation. Now, some of the most beautiful trails are along the river valley. So Red Deer's river valley is absolutely stunning. We have parks that go on for days. You can start at Heritage Ranch where you can get lost in the trails just in Heritage Ranch alone. Head down to Bower Ponds where you can take your kayak out, or if you want to rent a pedal boat, or there's a concession there. And you can keep going down and just explore all the parks, the Gates Lakes Bird Sanctuary. I had a client who I helped move here at the beginning of February. She moved to Sylvan Lake, and I told her to go. She's got 2 golden retrievers, and I told her to go check out 3 Mile Bend Dog Park. She was absolutely blown away by this dog park. She said, there's nothing like this where I come from in British Columbia.
Wow, this is amazing.
In the winter, we also have places that you can visit, like the Canyon Ski Hill, which is the largest non-mountain ski resort in Alberta. They put a ton of money into it in 2019 because of the Canada Winter Games. So it is a beautiful little ski hill that's just 12 minutes east of Red Deer, super easy to get to. We also have a ton of cross-country ski trails in the Riverbend Recreation area. So don't be deceived by what you see on a map. Red Deer is lush. It's full of greenery, and it has tons and tons of beautiful walking trails. When people get here, this is the thing that they comment on the most. They absolutely love how beautiful this city is. And hopefully you've seen a ton of B-roll while I've been running my mouth here so you can see exactly what we've been talking about. All right, let's talk about the weather. Now, the weather here in Red Deer is super erratic. I think that's kind of the only best way to describe it. This winter has been nuts. It has been the nicest winter that I've ever experienced in my lifetime. We pretty much had a green Christmas. There was a tiny bit of snow, but it was plus, 0 to +5 pretty much the whole winter until I think it was a couple weeks into January. We went from having the nicest winter that I've ever seen to the coldest temperatures that I ever experienced in my lifetime living here. It lasted for a week. So we were below -40 the whole time. And there was actually a couple nights where one night it was down to -58. -58 with the wind chill.
I can't stand it. I'm freezing to death.
Now that is friggin' cold. People's vehicles weren't starting. There was all kinds of shenanigans happening. And then it went back up to above 0. And just last week or a couple days ago, it was almost gone. The snow was almost melted. And then Mother Nature must have heard us talking shit about her. So guess what? Today it is -27 and we just got a dump of snow. I had taken the blade off my quad. I had to put it back on so I could plow the driveway. The weather here is super erratic. Now I often get asked about Red Deer and Lethbridge, so kind of southern Alberta versus central Alberta, what the difference in weather is. Now Lethbridge is going to be on average about, I was looking it up, and they're about 2 to 4 degrees warmer. So a little bit more temperate down there. The snow is going to be gone a little bit sooner. Both places get a ton of sun, so we don't have to worry about that. They're equally sunny. One of the things that I hear people complain a lot about down on Lethbridge is that the wind is just relentless. It never stops down there. So the weather might be a little bit warmer on average, but if wind is something you don't want to contend with, you probably don't want to live in Lethbridge. I actually had clients who were looking to move up to Red Deer because they wanted to get away from Lethbridge because it was so windy and it was affecting the wife's allergies all the time. So the differences between central Alberta versus southern Alberta, a little warmer down there, but it's windier. The winter will last a little bit longer in central Alberta. You'll see that snow melt a little bit sooner down in the southern area. Both areas get a ton of sun and both areas are dry. So that is one thing to consider when you are moving to Alberta, is that it is a dry climate here, very, very dry. So I personally love it. I hate humidity, but definitely something you should think about. All right, let's kind of talk about some odds and ends that you should know about Red Deer. Now, first off, avenues and the streets are backwards here. Avenues run north to south and the streets run east to west, which is different from everywhere else. So when you get here, like I first did, you might find that a little bit confusing, especially when I go somewhere like Edmonton where everything is like it normally would be. It takes me a minute to adjust, but things are backwards here. So just understand that when you're trying to figure out where you're going. However, it doesn't even matter. We have GPS nowadays. Who actually tries to figure it out in their head?
It's called Google Maps.
You know how to use it?
Now, I also have people reach out to me about, I had a guy reach out to me, a couple guys reach out to me from Ontario. They were looking to move to Alberta. What they did out there was rodent extermination. They were looking to move here and they want to set up a business like that. So out there, I guess you have rats and raccoons and all types of stuff. We don't have that here in Alberta. I mean, we have raccoons, but I've never actually seen a raccoon in the wild in my life. They're here, but I don't know where they are. But we don't have any rats. I'm sure the odd one might sneak in, and this isn't Red Deer specific, this is Alberta specific, but we do not have any rats here. It's a huge fine to even keep one as a pet. I think it's $5,000 per rat. Back in the 1950s, Alberta went hog wild. They have this whole rat control zone that runs along the eastern border with Saskatchewan. I think it's like 30 miles wide. I hope that makes sense. And it's government funded. There's farmers who are involved. All the counties are involved, and they make sure that no rats are coming through. And then they have the control zone along the southern border.
Evacuate! Everyone to the boats!
We don't have to worry about on the west border because we have the Rocky Mountains. And then up on the northern side, it's the boreal forest. It's too cold. Rats need lots of people. So if you're looking to set up a rodent business, we don't have any rats here in Red Deer or Alberta. Now, another thing I want to touch on is that you're going to hear a lot about Red Deer's red lights. Sometimes people call it red light Red Deer. And I did some research into this, and it's kind of funny actually. Red Deer's traffic system is called a SCOOT system. So split cycle offset optimization technique. Kind of a big funky word. It's the only city in Alberta that uses it, and one of 3 cities in the entire nation that use it. So it's not designed to cut down on red lights. It kind of groups cars into big platoons, and it's used to avoid delays in traffic. Like normal places where you think that the red lights might be timed, and if you drive the speed limit, say going down 30th Ave, that you should hit all the red lights. That's not going to happen here in Red Deer because we have a different system. Now, it has some faults to it. So when a pedestrian goes to cross the sidewalk, they push the button. Obviously, they walk through it. But the sensors in the ground of the split cycle offset, the SCOOT system, God, whatever it is, can't sense that the pedestrian is gone. And you might be sitting there waiting for a long time because it thinks that there's a pedestrian still in there. It also doesn't sense motorcycles sometimes. So if you're on your motorbike, you might get a little bit pissed off. But Red Deer is known for its red lights, unfortunately. And if you combine that with our backwards avenues and streets, there's a lot of things to remember when it comes to Red Deer's traffic system. With all that being said, though, traffic is super easy here within the city, which brings me into my last point, which is the type of living here in Red Deer. Lots of people, they're moving here from the lower mainland or the greater Toronto area, and they're tired of busyness. They're tired of commuting. They want somewhere where they can live that's a slow pace of life, which Red Deer is awesome for. In my opinion, it just feels like a big town. I always liken it. I grew up in a small town called Whitecourt, which is an hour and a half north of Edmonton. I feel like that town just injected a bunch of steroids and it became Red Deer. It doesn't feel any bigger to me, although it does have, all the big city amenities, minus some things that you might be missing like IKEA or some unique shops. The living in Red Deer is just a nice, slow pace. There's no traffic issues, even during the busiest times, before work, after work. There might be a couple traffic circles that you get to that where it's like up by Clearview, for example, where it might add an extra minute or 2 to your drive home, but it is super easy to get around, and you can get from one end of the city to the other in about 20 minutes. No issues parking downtown. And again, if you need to access one of those bigger cities, we're right smack dab in the middle halfway point between Edmonton and Calgary. So about roughly an hour and a half either way. I just had a gentleman email me before I shot this video. He just wanted to thank me for my YouTube channel. He said that he had family and children in Edmonton and Calgary, so Red Deer seemed like the logical point for them to buy a house. They actually ended up buying in Blackfalds, and they didn't use me as a realtor, but hey, I'm super glad you guys enjoyed the video. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, click that notification bell, and if you would like any help with the real estate needs, please give me a shout. Would love the chance to earn your business. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Cheers.